Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'm going to spend some time with my friend, Alan Paine, and talk a little bit about one of my favorite topics, which is investment real estate here in the great city of Houston. And he's with a group called richclub.org, and he's helping people do just that. And that organization is helping people do just that, get rich by all means. So good to have you on. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing great today, Kevin. How are you?
I am awesome, as always. So tell us a little bit about Rich Club.
Okay, the Rich Club is called the Realty Investment Club of Houston. What we do is train people how to buy properties with creative financing. We teach them creative finances. We also teach them how to sell these houses quickly if that's what they want to do. But we both know that the way to develop wealth long-term is to buy and hold. So we also teach that.
Yeah, it becomes an annuity, essentially.
Yes.
That house becomes an annuity if you hold on to it.
And every month you let somebody else pay down the house.
Yeah.
So long-term wealth is basically garnered. More people have been created by real estate as millionaires than anybody else, anything else.
So let me ask you a question. So do people either do one or the other? Others, flip them or hold on to them, or do people? Some people have a mixture. What's the norm?
You should have a mixture. The norm is they get told by the national gurus to come in. You start off by being a wholesaler. Well, they don't even know what that means. First off, wholesaling means you buy a house and you flip it to somebody quickly. You don't do anything to it.
Yeah, that's like our good friend Brian Spitz.
Right. Brian's wonderful at this.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
He's wonderful at this.
He's a genius, actually.
He really is.
Now, and I say that in a way that he's totally in to win-win for everyone he engages in.
Yes, and he's also working in a niche that nobody else has realized that he's playing in, and he's by himself.
Yeah, he's
which
amazing.
Is just amazing from that standpoint.
BigStateHomebuyers.com. I hope you don't mind me doing a plug for Brian.
Thank you. Yeah, and by the way, richclub.org. So
yeah, absolutely. Definitely check out. So you can become a Brian. Go check out richclub.org because that's where it starts. He got educated, he got training, and
now the next step from a Brian though is that you need to find houses below market, which is what you learn to do as a wholesaler if you're successful. And then you have to take that house and hold it. And you got to find ways to do that. And then you got to put tenants in the house so that house will gain value. We're not talking about speculating. We're talking about a deliberate plan to develop long-term wealth.
Got it.
So that house will pay itself off eventually. You have free and clear houses. How many does it take? One house can make $1,000 a month, free and clear. How many houses does it take to replace your income?
Right.
Not a lot.
And now you get into some real basic, but very important Robert Kiyosaki principles.
Yes, right.
Get off the rat race. Figure out how to reduce your nut to what you actually need. And then you essentially retire. And at that point, you can actually focus on wealth creation.
Then you're creating wealth. And then what you're also doing is, if you properly set up this business and create the right team, you're able to step away and let somebody else manage the property. It's their responsibility to find that tenant. It's their responsibility to deal with that tenant. The toilet breaks or blocks up, they deal with it.
See, this is really important stuff. This is what you're talking about right here is the stuff that differentiates the person who comes in, gets his feet wet, and gets out really fast because it was unpleasant. And the person who goes ahead and says, you know what, I don't mind losing X amount of money every month to get this done properly so I can focus on my next deal.
Oh.
And I tell you, the pigs get fat and hog gets slaughtered.
There you go.
And this is really analogous of that. I want all that money. I don't want anyone. Well, guess what? You're not going to have any fun with it either.
No, it's a full-time job managing properties, and leave that to the professionals. That's what they do well.
Yeah.
And we've got...
don't do this at home, boys and girls.
No, we have 3 property managers that are vendors of ours that are at the club on our Saturday event. And, that right there, it's like, I wish I'd known about them when I first started, because I became a reluctant landlord. That's the guy who buys a house and is not able to flip it quickly because something changes.
Right.
And my timing's always been horrible. So I became a reluctant landlord, and I was not good at it. I'm too dang nice.
Right.
Somebody has that sob story, and you go, okay, I'll help
work with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And boy,
and then you do all the work.
Then I do all the work, and I have all the pain, and they are living in a nice house for nothing.
Right.
And that's just not my model. That's not my plan. So, these guys, they come in when they haven't paid their rent on time. Here's a 3-day notice. Here's the next notice, and bye.
Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah, and then the sheriff's there knocking on the door with the guy saying you're out.
Yeah,
and that's the way you run a business.
Yeah, it's not personal. It's just business.
It's just business, and for me, I'm not a good landlord. I know it. But I also realize where the long-term wealth is. Mm-hmm. And you've got to buy and hold. That's one of the things we're really starting to press more and more at the club. One of the things that we're doing is getting people out of the stands and onto the playing field. So with our mastermind group that we're doing,
yes,
and they meet.
Very excited about it. We run a daily commercial about it because
they meet today.
We're stoked.
They meet tonight at 7:00. And you can come in at any point, and you will have 12 more meetings once a week with the mastermind group. It doesn't matter. You can come on Monday during the day, or you can come on Wednesday nights, and it's real simple. You can come in and you have support of a group that help you improve yourself.
Right. And it's not just a crowd. You break down into smaller groups as well.
It's
kind of accountability groups.
It's 5 to 6 people in a group, and you become accountability groups. Exactly, is the right way to word it. You state what you're going to do, and then you go and do it. If you don't do it, then you say, I didn't do it, and now you recommit to something, a new agreement.
You better make sure you want that goal. Make sure you don't have fictional goals.
Exactly. You got to really go for it, and you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to find out what's wrong with you. Is it I'm a procrastinator? Is it I'm really scared? And by the way, the best way to deal with fear is go face it.
That's exactly right.
I had a huge fear of coming up here and talking on the radio, and then I did it.
And now we have to get security to get you out of here.
They have done that more than once. It's really scary.
Kind of embarrassing. Now you're scared of security. That makes you leave. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't.
And it's interesting. There's a great book called "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway."
Yes,
it's a very good book. And then Steve Chandler has been like a mentor of mine. He's written probably around 50 books on this stuff. He wrote a book called Fearless, and I like that even better. A lot of stuff that we fear are stuff we have no business fearing. Death, that's a good thing to fear.
But we all do it.
Right. But, he says, and I agree with him because I've been able to do this in certain areas, make little adjustments where we go from courageous to fearless.
Yes.
And I tell you, there's a lot more power in fearlessness than there is in courage.
Oh, I like it that way.
Yeah.
Because I always tell people, listen, the fear's not going to leave. You still have the fear. Go stand next to it and just walk forward with it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not afraid to come in here anymore.
No, not at all.
Like I said, he's afraid of the security guard, but he's not afraid of us.
Well, I mean, it's like I have to public speak now. This Thursday night, tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing a deal, and we're talking about where's my deal here? Okay, yeah, winterizing your real estate investment business and winterizing your business, not winterizing a house.
Right.
And so one of the things we're doing in there, are you an ant or are you a grasshopper? Remember the old
I love
parable?
that. I love that.
Which one are you? Are you an ant? An ant would be somebody doing wholesaling.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, long-term wealth. And the grasshopper is somebody doing wholesaling.
Right.
And so which one are you? Doesn't matter. But which one are you? You need to identify yourself.
I don't know. According to that fable, it did.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because people will fool themselves when they replace their job with another job.
Right.
Because wholesaling is a job.
It's a job. It's a business.
Unless you do it the way Brian does
Brian does it, which is a business.
It's a business.
A true right
business.
side, top corner of the quadrant is what he's got.
And, it's
for those not knowing when I talk about read Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, that's the greatest book. It changed both of our lives.
Yeah, it has. Absolutely.
And so, I highly recommend the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books.
Yeah.
They are so wonderful.
They're fantastic.
I mean, the first three, and I don't remember, the Cash Flow Quadrant. It's Rich Dad Poor Dad, then the Cash Flow Quadrant.
Retire early, retire rich.
That's
I think
the last one. Okay.
one. Yeah, and then the rest really just weren't nearly as good.
No, well, they're more specific to different.
They're
areas.
real specific, including the prophecy one, the doomsday one, which was actually pretty accurate. It just wasn't very interesting for whatever reason. I don't know. My whole life is full of doomsday, so I don't know. I guess it didn't resonate. But he's awesome. You're awesome, and always glad to have you on, Alan.
Thank you. And remember, I want everybody to go to therichclub.org. Go to our calendar. We have so many events every month. It's almost impossible to talk about them all.
It is.
And we've had some great national speakers coming, or national trainers, the way I should word it. And we've got Robin Thompson coming next month to teach you how to do everything you need to do to rehab a house. And then after that, we have a guy named Peter Fortunato, and Peter is one of the gurus on creative real estate, and it's going to be great.
Hey, Sigmund, it's time to call security again. All right, Alan Paine, he's been fantastic. richclub.org. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
When we come back, much more for you right here on The Price of Business.